Oh, what is good, Ninja? OG over here from PlayerEssence, and welcome to their PE Nintendo Switch and gaming news video. Today, we've got some awesome information for you guys. Let's go ahead and get right into it. Multiple Fire Emblem Warrior character reveals are planned for TGS 2017. So a few days ago, Koei Tecmo announced its lineups for this year's Tokyo Game Show 2017. Fire Emblem Warriors will be heavily featured in the show. Not only will the game be playable for all the attendees to try out, but Koei Tecmo is planning multiple events for the game. So Fire Emblem Warriors will still have 4 different stage shows on a consecutive days starting on September 21st. So back-to-back stage shows will be featured with Fire Emblem Warriors. That might be unheard of. I haven't heard of 4 separate stage shows for one game. And like I said, it all starts September 21st, and each one should be streamed live via Nico at least, and seemingly YouTube and Fresh as well. Now the first session taking place on September 21st between 2:30 p.m. and 3:15 JST. Gameplay videos and details are promised on the game, and it sounds like we could be hearing about a few new characters. Producer Yosuke Hayashi and director Hiroya Usada will also be on hand, along with Masahiro Higuchi from Intelligent Systems, to show off all the cool stuff in the game. Now the next session will be taking place on September 22nd between 1 p.m. and 1:45 p.m. JST. Much gameplay is promised in this one, in addition to brand new details and videos that you can expect. Now Koei Tecmo will hold yet another stage show for Fire Emblem Warriors between 12:30 p.m. and 1:15 p.m. JST on September 23rd. We'll be hearing about a brand new character here for sure. So it's 100% on September 23rd that there will be a new character reveal. Now, Hikaru Midorikawa, Marth's Japanese voice actor, will also be in attendance, so maybe we get more Shadow Dragon characters there. Now, last but not least, there will be a final session being held on September 24th between 4 p.m. and 4:45 p.m. JST. The voice actors for Marx and Liana, respectively, will be there and will be making some type of appearance, so maybe there's another reveal or something like that. Now, all this information is all going down during the Tokyo Game Show. The game is slated to hit Japanese stores on September 28th, and it will be out October 20th in North America and in Europe, and they've got a big show planned for this. And the reason why it's big is because Fire Emblem is just really big. It's a really big game in Japan. It's obviously a little bit bigger than what Zelda was, so Hyrule Warriors I just don't think will launch to as much fanfare. Now Zelda is obviously getting bigger in Japan with The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, but Fire Emblem games, at least the most recent ones when it comes to Fire Emblem Awakening and Fire Emblem Fates, have been very popular in Japan, so I can see why they really want to hype this one up in Japan, and the Tokyo Game Show is all about that. But that's crazy because Koei Tecmo does have quite a bit of games launching this year to promote Fire Emblem Warriors. Shows that they really want to value this relationship that they have with Nintendo and make sure this game is a success. So I'm looking forward to all the new character reveals and the stage shows. I can't wait to watch it. Plus there's been some new information that has come out about Corn and Dragon Vein and stuff like that. So we'll probably get into that in a later video once we have a little bit more details, but there is a lot of great stuff planned for Fire Emblem Warriors on the Nintendo Switch and the new Nintendo 3DS. Let me know what you guys think about all of this news in the comment section below. Alright, and moving on to the next article here. The NBA 2K18 developers wanted the Nintendo Switch version to be the same as the PS4 and Xbox One versions from day one, and they dedicated a whole second team to do so. So all indications thus far has pointed to NBA 2K18 being a very solid title on the Nintendo Switch. Aside from a few graphical differences, in addition to the frame rate being halved, the Nintendo Switch version matches up quite well to the other counterparts. Now, in an interview with Game Reactor, senior producer Rob Jones discussed the approach to creating NBA 2K18 for the Nintendo Switch in a bit more detail. From day one, Visual Concepts president spoke about making it the same exact game that it was on PS4 and Xbox One, and it goes without saying doing so was no easy task. So here's Jones's full words, quote, "Well, the main thing that our president said from day one is that the Nintendo Switch had to be the exact game that it was on PS4 and Xbox One. So by starting there, you know, the bar was already set extremely high because we were already working really, really hard just to get it on the platforms we already knew, and then suddenly to take that and miniaturize it for a portable. You know, the portable Switch, obviously it plays when docked, but to get all those features working on there was kind of a gargantuan task. We actually had a second team just dedicated only to doing the Nintendo Switch version because it would have been impossible within confines of VC. So obviously we delivered a good experience. It's not the exact same graphics because the Switch can't push them, you know, but the experience itself, you're not missing out on anything from the Nintendo Switch version compared to the main console's versions. So this is kind of interesting from what he says, because it kind of leads to believe what a lot of people have been saying, and kind of what I was saying, even in some of the debates, that just because you have a game on a PS4 and Xbox One, you can't just press a port button. Even though the Nintendo Switch is easier to port over than like the Wii U was with PS3 and 360, or the other way around, or PS4 to Nintendo Wii U. It's still hard. You still have to do different things. It still has different architecture. It still has different RAM allocation. There's so many different things about it. Yes, it's easier, but at the same time, if you want to get a quality version, you can't just press an easy port button and it all just goes over. You're going to have to take time. It's going to have to be a quality port if you want people to pay attention. And that's the thing that they're doing with this one that we're seeing differently from the Wii U, whereas developers just kind of put stuff out on there. Every single third-party game, as far as major third-party games, whether even it's EA with them having a 1080p 60 frames per second game, even NBA 2K18, everything that you're seeing is a lot higher quality than what we saw with the counterparts on the Wii U. It's just a lot higher quality across the board. Skyrim is looking a lot better as well than some of the other third-party games, for example, like Batman Arkham City or something like that on the Wii U. So that's the biggest thing I think Nintendo spoke to third-party developers about, and this is not the slam on the Wii U or anything like that, but I think Nintendo talked to them and said, hey, this is what we need to do. If you need to take extra time to do it, that's fine. If you can't be at launch with an older port, that's fine. Give me whatever you have that's new, or give me something. If you're going to do a port, make sure that it's quality, make sure it runs good, make sure people are going to be happy with the product. Maybe you can't get everything on there, maybe everything won't be the same, but at least make sure the game and the product runs and looks well. And that's pretty much what we've seen from almost every single third-party game out there when it comes to major ones that we've seen so far, whether it's FIFA or it's NBA 2K, Skyrim, Rocket League, whatever the case is, we're getting ports that are better quality than we got before, and I think that's the most important thing. Try to get the quality up there, try to get as much content as you can in there, and make the experience good for the end user so they don't feel like they're missing out on anything by going with the Nintendo Switch version of the game. So I'm happy that the developers were able to do it, but it did seem like it was pretty tough for them to get everything on there, especially so quickly. Obviously, the Nintendo Switch is not the PS4, Xbox One. They've been working with those systems for years now. The Switch is new, so it's always going to be a little bit of an adjustment period whenever you do that. But what do you guys think about this here? NBA 2K18 has a little bit of a weird situation on the Nintendo Switch. We've already talked about it quite a bit as far as the whole SD card thing and cartridges and all that. So let me know what you guys think about what he said here, in addition to if you're getting NBA 2K18 on the Nintendo Switch in the comment section below. Alright, and moving on to the last article here. Reggie Fils-Aimé, the Reginator, talks about Nintendo Switch stock and urges fans not to overbid for the Super Nintendo Classic Edition on auction sites. So FT was able to speak with Nintendo of America President Reggie Fils-Aimé at Verity's Entertainment and Technology Summit 2017. Reggie was able to comment further on the Nintendo Switch supply situation during this interview, and basically what he said, that the lack of stock early on boils down to two different things. First, the demand for the Nintendo Switch was higher than expected, and second, that Nintendo has been dealing with supply shortages of components. So here's what Reggie had to say exactly. Quote, I'm going to make millions of these units to flow into the marketplace, but what I don't know is what the demand is going to be. And there is a potential that demand is going to outstrip supply. Certainly the demand is there and the supply chain is there. Can we do more? It depends on our ability to make more. We don't want to have a consumer disappointed by not being able to get one for the holiday season, but managing that complex supply chain is a challenge. There is not one choke point. There are multiple choke points. I won't go into any more detail, but it's not just one component. So basically what he's saying there is that there's multiple components that are having shortages, and they're having choke points on each one of those, trying to get those out and get them in the Nintendo Switch and get them shipped out to meet the demand that's going out there in the marketplace. Now moving on to the next thing here, Reggie also talked about the Super Nintendo Classic Edition and how pre-orders and limited stock were outside of the control of the retailers, but he did say that he doesn't want you overbidding because they will have good stock on the matter. So let's get into what he had to say here. In this case, it's not a supply issue. I would strongly urge you not to overbid on a Super Nintendo Classic at any of the auction sites. You shouldn't shouldn't have to pay more than $79.99. So regarding the shortages of the NES Classic Edition last year, Reggie also explained that Nintendo wasn't intentionally making the hardware scarce as a means to stirring interest, rather than production volumes were based on the historically low sales of other retro gaming devices from other manufacturers. So I can kind of understand what he's saying there, but this is Nintendo. But yes, like all those old school retro devices out there, and the fact that you can already play all of these games, and Nintendo's already released a lot of these old games via virtual console service on the Nintendo 3DS, or whether it's on the Wii U, or whether it's on the Wii, or people just emulating and hacking, or these old devices just being out there. I mean, that's the thing. These games have been out there for so long. Even myself, I was just like, well, I don't really care about this. These are super old games as far as Nintendo games go. There's nothing really unique or new about this. We've seen these old retro systems before. Then all of a sudden it blew up. Heck, it took me by surprise by how much people were fighting and clawing and scratching to get these Nintendo Classics. I think I even said a couple times on video, like, why is everyone going after these? Like, it's not the Super Nintendo, it's the Nintendo. And the games on there, while good, there's no RPGs on there outside of Final Fantasy or whatever, so I was just like, man, whatever. You know, I didn't know why it was so popular, but people loved it. But I think this time they're going to have enough stock here. So we should see some good stock going into it. If you haven't got a pre-order yet, don't worry. They're going to be supplying that through 2017, but I wouldn't wait till 2018 because they did say that supply will be going through 2017. They did not commit to 2018. So if I were you, and if you want one, make sure you're checking stores in 2017 and not waiting till after Christmas. Alright guys, that wraps it up for this video here. Go ahead and check out the links in the description below. We've got Facebook, we've got Twitter. Go ahead and give us a follow and a like on our social media. Really helps us spread the content of PlayerEssence across our interwebs in addition to YouTube. Also make sure you check out our Patreon page, pledge any tier, and be entered to win some awesome prizes each month. In addition to that, we have Discord voice chat and $10 prize eShop tournaments for Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, Splatoon 2, and more. So support PE Lab and PE Arena right here on PlayerEssence. Also make sure you hit that like button if you did like this video. Lets me know you guys want more content like this going forward in the future. And subscribe to PlayerEssence for the latest news, reviews, discussions, and more. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll catch you for the next video. Peace.